Hey Aquas, hope you guys are doing really good. I'm Island Turtle. Welcome to BOMISpirit. This is going to be your monthly intuitive messages for the sign of Aquarius. If you are resonating with these messages, you can dive deeper into part 2, which is linked below for your convenience through Vimeo or Patreon. We also have website, socials, all that good stuff. But Aqua, I want to get to your reading. This is the third time I've tried to record your reading. Needless to say, I think there are a lot of distractions. I really want to use the word disruption, to be honest, going on in your reality right now or with you right now. And I did get some very interesting messages that were coming through in the channeling. Like I heard the real Aquarius is what I heard. That's interesting. Oh shoot, what was the other one? Oh shoot. This is what I mean. It's like Aqua, I feel like there's disruption. I just can't get away from it. There's disruption and there's distraction. Oh, what was the other one? Dancing with the Shadow. That was another one that was coming through. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. I just was excited. I actually remembered it. Dancing with the Shadow. I was getting a lot of white and a lot of purple color-wise coming through. So you'd be working with those colors right now. They could also be power colors for you as well. And it feels like this disruption, distraction. It's weird how it wants to come through. It's almost like I feel like it's really just a manifestation of what has been broken through, what's been cracking through. I was also getting a lot of stuff around the root chakra for you, root and the earth star. So you could be working with the earth right now. You could be gritting a lot. You could be grounding a lot. I keep feeling like something's been shaken loose with your own personal like root chakra. That could even be ancestrally. Something is breaking through. And now they're showing me like a mirror shattering. I don't know. These are very interesting. Aqua, the other thing that's interesting with your energy is it feels like you, but it feels like there's a little dribble of Pisces, a little dribble of Scorpio, maybe even a little dribble of Aries going on. Astrologically, we do have a lot going on in Pisces and Aries already, and you already know Pluto's in Aquarius right now. But I just want to give you guys everything that I'm feeling with your energy. It just feels very. I almost want. Like something about your energy is getting disrupted, but it's interesting because when we think of Aquarius, Aquarius is a disruptor, and I did hear the real Aquarius. So I think that's what this is like Aqua. I think this disrupted energy that's going on in your life right now, if you are experiencing that, I feel like it's a piece of you, to be honest. And I feel like if you're experiencing it externally, it's just mirroring that back to you. It's trying to like show you what's going on with yourself. Like if you pay attention enough, like in your day to day, what's going on around you, the words people are using, signs, synchronicities, that sort of deal. It's really just an external mirror of what is going on with you energetically, right? The dancing with the shadow comes to mind with this like disruptive force, disruptor kind of a force. Some of you, this is Fae related. I want to say most of you, it's not. Okay, most of you, it is not Fae related, but it has something to do with your shadow and how you've been dancing with your shadow recently. I just keep feeling like something has been broken and has allowed for this disruptive energy to come out in your life or even within yourself. I don't think it's a bad thing. I really feel like it's just you or part of your own shadow. And if you're experiencing it externally, it's like it's time for you to see that that's what it is. It's time for you to see that that's what's going on with you, or that's just a piece of you, a fractal, almost a fractal of you. They keep saying the shadow is really important. The shadow is really important. Some of you can be triggered very easily around this time, around other people specifically. That's also just very collective, but you could be really feeling that with yourself. And I think it has something to do with how you're dancing with your shadow right now. Aquarius is very interesting because I find that most Aquarians really do like their solitude, but they like to come out and mingle and mess shit up. Like disrupt, right? Disrupt things, cause a stir, poke at things, get people to see things in a different way. Like, you know what I mean? That's very Aquarius. And so you could also be teeter-tottering on that line right now too of like, how social do I want to be versus how alone do I want to be? Some of you may be very aware that you just need a lot of like, you need some solo time right now. Saturn and Pisces is asking that of us. And actually Saturn retrograde as of yesterday. I'm recording on the 30th of June. They keep bringing up the shadow. Some of you could be really fighting a lot of fatigue. I think that's just a result of what has broken out. It feels like something's broken out recently, and it reminds me of the last weekly I did, the Shadow Cat Frees the Lamb. It's kind of reminding me of that, but the lamb for you is like a disruptive force. I don't know. Let's get into this. I'm very intrigued. I'm intrigued. Yeah, it's like some part of you that's been tucked away. Maybe you put it there. Maybe you tucked it away. Maybe you locked up this piece of you. It's out now. It's out. And I keep wanting to say it's part of your shadow. But it's not bad. It's just you. But there's something about the way that you are dancing with this piece of your shadow. It's like you're not fully integrated with it yet or something. That feels very resonant. It's like you're not fully integrated yet with it. Keep in mind, my readings are timeless, regardless of when I'm recording them. I am going to use the Star Codes Astro Oracle for you guys. And don't mind me if I look tired. It's one of those days. Any messages or insights for Aquarius? Ooh. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to call this. You're dancing with a newly freed fractal of your shadow. And it's the part of you that is a disruptor. And I think this is something that you find that you're very easily triggered by in other people. I just keep feeling like you're the one who like locked it away. Tension. Mm-hmm. Wow, that is an image. Can you guys see that okay? It's like two birds running into each other. And you know, that's and it's interesting because look, they're running into each other, but they're also like breaking through their own little like thresholds. I keep feeling that like you're not fully integrated with it yet. So almost like this is an image of how you're dealing with it. It's just like disruptor. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. But that is the part of your shadow that you're integrating, and which is innately disruptive anyway. This is like so fascinating, Aquarius. Some of you could be experiencing this kind of energy again externally as well. I just keep hearing easily triggered, easily, like your feathers are getting ruffled very easily, I want to say. And people could be having the same experience with you. But I think being so triggered is because you're not fully integrated yet. Can I get one more? I'm almost gonna get two more. Can I get one more for Aquarius, please? Yeah, it's a little restless. It's a little restless. Like when you're dealing with people, you could feel like, stop, get out of my way. Stop talking to me. Like it feels like this. Ugh, it feels like that. Which is so funny because it's like, since you're not fully integrated with it yet, you just keep experiencing disruption. Some of you coyote could be coming up a lot. Whoa! Hold on. Card vomit. Oh! Look what fell on top of the card, though. Pluto literally fell right on top of this, so I am going to take it. Pluto, like I said, is in your sign right now in Tropic Western, retrograding in Aquarius. It will move into Capricorn on September 1st. If you already have the 2024 astrology poster, then you already know that. And if you still want one, linked below. They're going to be useful for the rest of the year. This Pluto energy. So Pluto is really good at taking things from the depths and bringing it to the surface, right? To facilitate growth, evolution, birth, transformation. That's just what Pluto does. And I feel like it's just an indication of what's been happening with your shadow. And I keep hearing it's about the root chakra specifically. So the root chakra is where we feel the most stable and secure within ourselves, right? It's like when we are really firm in our root chakras, we don't really have a lot of anxious, fearful energy going on. We're grounded. We are rooted. We know who we are. We feel very stable. We feel very solid. Think like Archangel Michael. Like we can get up and go through our day and just feel like we're solid. I just keep hearing solid, solid, solid. There's something about that word too that you need to like hear right now. solid, solid, on solid footing, on solid footing, on solid footing, on solid footing. I would really pay attention. Sorry, here you go. I just get into it and then I forget. Oh yeah, I'm holding cards. I'd really pay attention to your dreams right now. I feel like there's also a lot of things coming up in your dreams that relate to memories. Stuff coming up from your past in relation to either like family or how you have struggled feeling very solid on your feet. Maybe even how other people have thrown you off. Interest, thrown you off. Interesting. Yeah, there's something about that too. Aqua, there's some big emotions trying to come out right now. And if you've been struggling with fatigue or lethargy, laziness, procrastinating, or being just very distracted, ADD like, I think it's actually because there's a lot of emotions trying to like actually be processed from old stuff. And I feel like it's how people have thrown you off of your own sense of grounding, your own sense of footing, how life has tripped you up. But I keep getting it's more about people, how people have tripped you up, how people have disrupted you. I'm getting like a big earthquake energy with that too. Yeah. So however this is coming through for you, I just keep getting like old stuff about how either like family, certain close bonds is how it's coming through, or even just events of life have actually like tripped you, like thrown you off of your footing. This could even relate to some sort of accident that's happened, or maybe you trip a lot. It's something about the feet. Like the feet aren't solid. The feet are not grounded fully, like in a way where you're confidently in your feet on the ground on the earth. Um Hence the falling and the tripping, but I keep getting like tripped up, tripped up, tripped up, tripped up. It's relating to that. It's relating to that. And that's part of what's been, thank you, that is part of what's also been shaken loose. As you are also integrating this part of your shadow that is the disruptor, there's also old stuff coming up in relation to that same energy that you've experienced externally. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I know sometimes with the way that the messages come through, sometimes it's hard for people to follow, but it's just how it wants to come through. Yeah, it's this feeling of threat that I'm getting from you, like when you're dealing with people, how much people have tripped you up. But there's an allowance there too, right, Aqua? It's like it's sometimes, yeah, sometimes people are sneaky as shit and they do things. But also sometimes we allow people to bring in too much of their own energy disrupting and allow them to disrupt our own, right? Sometimes that's a thing. So I think you guys understand the themes that are coming up here. And again, they're all going to be a little different depending on where you're at, right? I mean, different for everybody, depending on where you're at. So just take it as it resonates. But it's time to face any emotions you still have, any fear, insecurities you still have about getting tripped up off your footing, or events in your life where the rug has been pulled up underneath you, or like life has literally tripped you, or you've literally fallen or have had accidents. It's like that's how it keeps coming through. You have this same disruptor energy that you have these issues with. I keep hearing triggers around this as well. This is also part of your own shadow that you, again, you're integrating right now. Can I get one more for Aquarius, please? It's like you're making peace with the energy of disruptors and disruption. You're making peace with that. That's how you're going to integrate this. Then we got two more. Ooh, interesting. As I say that, we have nurture, totally like the opposite of disruption, right? We have transits with series. Yeah, Aqua, I feel like you need some alone time. I do. I feel like you need some space. 1441 when I said that, by the way. Like I feel like this person's just incubated, just like this, like huddled up. It also reminds me of the Cancer reading actually, where Cancer the last one that I did is like really standing in the center of their own universe. And that's how I'm also seeing this right now. And series with nurture is exactly how it sounds. It's self-care. It's how do we bring nourishment and comfort and life to situations or even to ourselves. I feel like you need a lot of this right now. It's not quite babying yourself. It's not quite that, but maybe some of the stuff, maybe it did start when you were really, really young. It feels like giving yourself a lot of TLC because you are going through a major transformation right now because you're integrating the disruptor part of your shadow. Some of you, this is a self-sabotaging quality, or maybe you have a tendency to sabotage your own reality by being disruptive or disrupting it, causing a lot of change, or maybe it's not even necessary. It's not very aqua, like to cause change unnecessarily, but you guys can be very catalytic and a disruptive force. It's just the nature of Aquarius. Yeah, you need to be a little incubated right now. Because I keep getting this too. It's like the more you're interacting with people, the more this disruptive energy is being thrown in your face. And I keep feeling like it's triggering this animalistic feeling of being under threat or being angry or wanting to lash out or almost like wanting, like, I almost feel this impulse of like wanting to make people stop, like around you. Because even that, even in the existence of another energy right now, for some of you, it's that sensitive. Some of you, the existence of another person in your reality right now is disruptive enough. I keep hearing, yeah, coming back to root work, coming back to root work, coming back to root work on that. Ooh, aqua. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and where are we at? Oh man, 17 minutes. It's always so fast. I am going to use the animals here. Using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. By the way, all the decks that I use are linked below, and they have been updated. For those who've been watching me for a while, it's taken me a bit, but they are updated. So all the decks that I have been using are now fully down there. Okay. Can I get a card for tension for Aquarius? I almost want to pull the Beautiful Creatures deck out. Yeah, okay, they want me to switch. They said, yeah, use the Beautiful Creatures deck. I will show you this, though. Bat and Camel wanted to come out for tension. I'm going to keep it on the board since I started using this deck, even though I'm about to switch over. But Bat and Camel coming out with tension. Oh. I feel like it's just the shadow screaming. Because Camel is like literally the opposite of disruption. Camel's about dealing with disruption. Camel's about dealing with hard situations and getting through and planning and having your resources and making it work. It's a little bit of survival mode, but Bat to me feels very Plutonian here, seeing the light in the dark or even transitioning from dark to light or death to birth. I feel like it's just really indicating that part of your shadow of dealing with disruption, how you are dealing with it or not dealing with it. But yeah, let's switch to Beautiful Creatures. Talk about a deck I haven't used in a while. Ooh, come here. Oh yeah, this feels more right. Yeah, Aqua, I keep feeling like you're in very like Scorpio, almost said Pluto's a Scorpio. Pisces, what I was trying to say, energy. And again, purple, lots of purple going on here. Purple and white being very big colors for you right now. Can I get a card for tension for Aquarius? Can I get a card for tension for Aquarius? Cards are just flying today for you guys. We have the Wheel of Fortune, actually. And she's crying. And she's crying. I'm also noticing the butterfly. I'm also noticing the die here. It's hard to tell like what number it goes up to. I assume maybe it goes up to 20. Kind of reminds me of, what's that game? Dungeons and Dragons, D&D. Kind of reminds me of that. Anyway. The Wheel of Fortune coming out. When the Wheel of Fortune comes out, it's just indicating a change in a flow of direction, either going into an ebb state or a flow state. Some people even look at it as the tower sometimes. But all it is a change, a window of opportunity starting to happen. But I feel like what that is literally this integration that you're going through. That's honestly what I feel like it is around tension. The level of discomfort. There's a lot of discomfort here, Aqua, and it's not just yours, it's also the discomfort of others. I feel like other people are very uncomfortable with you right now. But again, it's the energy of disruption. That's the energy of disruption. It makes people uncomfortable. It's like you're exuding it even if you're not trying to. I don't even think you know you're exuding it, because I think most of you are just experiencing it externally, like feeling like people are disrupting you, feeling distracted, feeling like hard to focus or hard to get things done, but you're exuding it right now. But the wheel is typically positive. I'm not going to say it's positive or negative here. It's just indicating that you are going through a shift. Some of you could have been going through a recent shift in your relationships, which makes sense as well, just because of this like intense recoil that I'm feeling between you and other people right now. So certain relationships are probably just not flowing the way they normally do. Can I get a card for Pluto for Aquarius? Can I get a card for Pluto? I was waiting for the moon to come out. Wow. Oh, Pluto and the moon. Moon is actually a Pisces card, but since Cancer is ruled by moon, it's also a Cancer card for me. Again, you got a lot of water going on here, and I keep feeling more Pisces and Scorpio more than anything with you. Having Pluto and the moon come out really speaks to working with your subconscious, which is working with the realms and working with your shadow. Something has been hidden, something has been buried away, kept away. And again, I keep feeling like you locked away a piece of yourself is how it keeps coming through. And I keep flashing back to the weekly that we had earlier, and it is being unlocked right now. And that piece of your shadow that is a disruptor, it's coming up and out. I think it's always been there. Like, how do I want to say? Even if you were very disconnected from it, it's still you. And so people might have always sensed that in you anyway. Yeah. I mean, you're Aqua. I don't expect you to have very mundane relationships. I just don't expect that for Aquarius. Obviously, it depends on where all that's at in your chart and everything else. So I wouldn't expect that. But I just have a feeling I'm reading for Aquas or relationships have been disruptive. It's this theme of disruption that just seems to be very pervasive. And it's like, even if you are, that's just your norm, it's about to become even more intense or obvious. I just keep feeling like the energy of disruption is super prevalent because it is now out of the little prison you put it in, that part of your shadow, and you're integrating it. But the moon also being here with Pluto can indicate some sort of ego death as well for some of you. Hold on, there's something else coming through here. Getting a bit of like a devil energy, like the devil card. I'm hearing Mars. This, I know it's gonna sound crazy. Maybe it won't. This might relate to your Mars placement is almost how I want to say, or it even could relate to Aries, which again, I was getting Aries as well. Something about your own masculine energy or the way that you are motivated to take action. I'm hearing debilitated. So maybe you have Mars in Cancer. You don't have to. Or maybe it's retrograde, or maybe it's just not in a favorable position in your chart. But there's something about Mars, Aries, masculine energy that is in relation to the devil card. Like something feels like it's just not smooth running or not very balanced or harmonious. If anything, I almost feel like, how do I want to say that? It feels like a tether. It almost feels like, oh man, this reading is ending up being a long reading, a long reading, excuse me. I feel like a tether or like chains, which is very much like the devil card. I feel like it's more about that in relation to Mars, masculine, or Aries, that I actually want to say is holding you back or dragging you down. Some of you, it's a false sense of comfort. Some of you, this is about a relationship that has brought a false sense of comfort and stability. I just keep seeing a chain or a tether in relation to that. I think you're going to know what that is for you guys personally. Can I get a card for moving on to transits and series? And then I'm going to go ahead and get into part 2. Oh, thank you. Sorry. That Mars energy, the Mars energy pulled me back. The way we take action and what our true motives are. This is something that's part of Saturn retrograde lessons for the next 5 months. It's really going to peak in August, but it's getting kicked up now with all the shadowy Lilith stuff that's been going on. Okay, so just want to make that clear. There is this like false sense of comfort and security in forcing things to happen. So this is also where the sabotaging energy might come in of disrupting things unnecessarily. It's almost like Aquas, some of you are really struggle with just having things be consistently calm. Like that is like almost nerve-wracking for you, or it's like you can't sit in silence for very long, or you just can't sit in routine for very long. Almost like you're used to chaos, so you need chaos around you. So you'll create it after a while if things are too calm and too peaceful and too mundane, or you might see it as mundane or boring, but what is mundane or boring is actually just a comfort of stability and a peace. Oh man, we're hitting on big stuff here. But yeah, getting way too in your Mars energy, your masculine energy, or having this false sense of security or comfort. Some of you, it's about power. I got to be honest. Some of you, it's about, well, if I am achieving enough, or I'm doing enough, or I'm performing enough, or I'm producing enough, then it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Then everything is fine. Almost like it gives you a sense of control because you are making things happen. So it makes you feel like you're in control. That's very devil card. But what you're actually doing is disrupting a lot. You're disrupting things that don't need to be disrupted. And that is part of you not having this well-balanced relationship with this fractal of your shadow that is disruption. Okay. Moving on to transits and series. Anything else for Aquarius? Oh, yeah. Wow. Strength and the 10 of Cups. So Aqua, you guys have a very interesting reading here for what's going down during Saturn retrograde, because I feel like there's a lot of Saturn retrograde stuff coming up in here, which it just went retrograde, so it makes sense. While most people are going to need to be adaptable, for you, I feel like it's much more about actually having things be mundane. Like, it's not quite full surrender into the feminine, but I guess in a way it kind of is. Because I keep getting this like devilish masculine Mars energy that you're working from, that you're operating from, that just causes more chaos in your life unnecessarily. Causes more stress in your life unnecessarily. And that's why you need to have this relationship worked out with your shadow. But doing that means taking time. Doing that means incubating yourself. Doing that means slowing down, just kind of being, doing the shadow work that's necessary. But even with series, with strength and the 10 of Cups, I just keep feeling like the way that you need to be disciplined as far as Saturn is concerned is actually just regarding your own emotional body and your own shadow and being balanced with self. Like strength and 10 of Cups, this feels like protecting your peace. But how you're going to protect your peace is taking care of you and incubating you and having this integration take place. And part of that, again, there are going to be things that come up around how you have been disrupted through your life. And it's almost like you try to evade disruption by being disruptive, and you don't realize you're being disruptive. You just think you're being in control. This is fascinating. Anyway, I'm going to move on to part 2. But Aquas, I wish you luck in this endeavor. and in the root work that you're doing, because the root work seems very important here. Even with the Ten of Cups coming out, there may be a lot of family stuff and again, ancestral stuff that's part of this as well. But I'm going to jump into part 2. And if this is where you depart, I hope you enjoyed this reading. You guys got a long one, 30 minutes. I've been trying to keep them at 20, which has been really hard for me because you guys see I can just get into it and talk all day. Even for this one, I could have probably talked for another 20 minutes. But I am going to go. I love you guys, and I will see you for part 2 for those who are joining. And have a great night and take care.